How's it going, everybody? So, this morning, I asked myself kind of a weird question because I currently am in between bags of coffee. There's some on the way, but it hasn't gotten here yet, and I have no coffee. But there is some K-Cups. Now, I asked myself a question this morning. What would it be like, and I'm probably going to regret this, what would it be like to take whatever's in here and try to make it in a V60? And I do not have high hopes for this. But I'm just curious and I can't stop thinking about it. So I'm just going to do it. It's a simple enough experiment. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually compare it to what it would taste like if you just put it right into a Keurig. So I'm going to try to make a smaller quantity because with Keurigs you can choose like 8, 10, 12 ounces. I'm going to go with the lowest amount so that I can get it more accurate to what I'm going to be making here. I don't know if I'm going to follow the 1:16 ratio exactly with this, but I'm going to just kind of check it out and see what happens. First things first, we got to get the coffee out of here. I also want to measure it. I don't know how many grams of coffee are in here. Let's find out. I've never looked inside of a K-Cup before, so this is actually pretty interesting. Huh, it's actually a decent amount of coffee. It's definitely a similar coarseness, I think, to what I would do with a V60. Huh, didn't expect that. Oh, but the coffee smell though. Yep, it's not pleasant as far as the aroma goes. It's just straight up just bitterness. You could try to call it like cacao, but that is, yeah. This is the Veranda blend, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, this is the Veranda blend. So I don't know if it's like a blonde roast by their standards or whatever, but we're not using fresh coffee. So there's a lot of things I'm curious about. I'm curious about the bloom phase, if there is one, because there's not going to be a lot of degassing that has to happen here. I'm also curious as to, I'm just terrified. I'm curious about the yield, what it's actually going to produce. But okay, so let's get everything ready. We'll start getting some water on, but we're also going to measure, we're going to try to weigh out how much is actually in here. Okay, so how many grams of coffee is in a K-Cup? We're learning random, useless information today. Okay, so we're dealing with almost exactly 12 grams of coffee. Okay, so let me just do some math really quick. By me, I mean my phone. So it looks like if I was gonna do a 1:16 ratio with this, I'd do about 190 grams or so. A 6-ounce Keurig is gonna be about 177, 180 milliliters or grams. So maybe I'll do this and then I'm gonna make a Keurig with the 6-ounce and see what the comparison is. It should be similar in flavor. But then there's the other factor. The other factor is you can choose your temperature and your strength, which is, I'm assuming, just how slow the flow rate is of the water going into the coffee. And I don't know how strong I want it to be coming out of the Keurig. But let's deal with that later. First, let's see if we can make a cup of coffee with this that tastes similar or better than the Keurig itself. Okay, so we're gonna do this like we would do anything else in a V60. Pre-wet the filter. 12 grams in. So, this is the part I wanted you guys to see from this angle. Gosh, this setup is so precarious. Basically, I want to see if there's a bloom phase. I want to see how fast the drawdown is, all that stuff. I'm going to kind of go accordingly, but I'm going to be just learning as I go. I'm not planning on making a good cup of coffee, just so you know. That is not what I'm hoping the outcome's going to be. All right, here we go. So with 12, I'll probably do like 30 grams for the bloom, but let's see what happens. Oh my gosh. It's just soaking it up. There's a little bit of degassing. Oh my gosh. Look at it. I'm gonna pour kind of slow because it is passing through fast, which means the saturation rate isn't super. Oh, that aroma is not great. All right, we're going to 100. I'm gonna let it chill, see what happens. I'm pouring pretty slow, just because I'm curious if it's gonna clog much or... All right, yeah, it's definitely not going fast anymore. Maybe that was just the initial bloom phase. We're just gonna go right to 190. There we go. Now it seems like we're actually brewing, which is kind of weird. All right, I'm gonna kind of swirl it a little bit, just to kind of even it out at the bottom. I really hope it doesn't go too slow because that would make it even more nasty. I've got a feeling it's gonna slow down a bunch though. Yeah, I've never hoped that that coffee would channel more than I do right now, just so it's not as bitter. Now, I also did lower the temperature by I did 195, so like 5 degrees less than I normally would, just to help it not over-extract as much, but I've got a feeling this is gonna be a big old over-extracted cup of coffee. All right, I'm gonna try to speed it up by just lifting the paper a little bit, just so I have a less bad cup of coffee. I'm not gonna have a good one, but I've done this before. If I found that the flow just kind of stopped, sometimes lifting it up gives it more paper to go through. Which makes me wonder, how does it pass through the cup? Well, okay, no, never mind. Oh my gosh, yeah, duh. Keurigs don't even go through filters. They just go through a hole that's punched in the plastic. No wonder this is taking forever, because the way they ground it is so that it doesn't really need a filter. Yeah, look at how silty that is. No, I take everything that I said back before. This is not what I would grind a normal V60 at all. This is much finer. Okay, I think I'm done here. I'm not gonna let it drip through anymore. We're basically at the end here. So for the Keurig, I just made 6 ounces at medium strength and medium temperature. Something that always disturbed me about watching a Keurig brew is how thin the coffee is at the beginning. But, you know, it's one of those things that you gotta just know what to expect when it comes to getting certain quality from a Keurig. But when I finished brewing, I poured 100 grams into a sample cup so that it is identical with the one that we made with the V60. So, we got 2 cups of coffee. Neither of these are good, but let's see if there's one that I actually end up liking better. All right, here it goes. We're gonna taste this one first, because why not? Oh. Blah, 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 blah. I'm gonna need a glass of water. Okay. Not much to say about it. Here's this one. Okay, I don't want to do it again. Yeah, not much to say, except it wasn't very good. I'm gonna try to do them back to back. I'm gonna have to taste these more than once. Whoa. All right, let's try this one. This one looks a little darker, maybe? Interesting. Okay. It's not good, but interesting. Oh my gosh, it's like there's this film. There's this film that's kind of coating my mouth. All right, I'm gonna try it back to back closer this time. All right, so here we go. Doing this one. This one. The level of blandness is fascinating. There's like this actual coating that's formulating. This one's a little, to me, tastes a little deeper than the other, a little bolder. This one tastes a little bit thin. Oh no, I gotta do it again. All right, Peter, pay attention. I think I actually like this one a little bit better. I believe it's from the Keurig, but I don't like this very much. It's bland and thin, so it doesn't have like the thickness, like the robustness that this one does. They both don't taste good, but at least this one has some texture. I could be wrong, but let's find out. Yeah! Heck yeah, I was right. Okay, so guys, fun fact, a V60 does not make a better Keurig than Keurig does. What a stupid experiment. The one thing I did genuinely find fascinating though, is that there was actually a difference in the cup, but really, the flavor wasn't much different. The only thing that was different was the texture. And I think that's just because the beans have just, the grounds are just, the gases are just gone in them. There's not a whole lot to extract when it comes to flavor. But because the Keurig's not passing through a paper filter, it's got more texture to it. Versus this one, which kind of, the only thing it removes from the coffee is the actual texture itself. So, not very good. Not an upgrade, not worth your time. This, if you have 30 seconds, or whatever, how long it ever takes, like, let's say a minute, to make a cup of coffee, then just push a button and have a Keurig with some cream and sugar. Because I'm not having any more of this without at least something in it. But yeah, it was actually kind of interesting. I basically did it so you don't have to, so you're welcome. I doubt like anybody else has had this curiosity, but if you did, you can put your mind at ease. Don't use a K-Cup in your V60. Well, let me know if there's anything else you want to try, any random coffee questions. I love talking coffee, I love trying stuff involving coffee, so please let me know in the comments if you have anything else that you want me to try. I'm down to try a bunch of random stuff, that's for sure. But wherever you are, whatever you're doing, I hope you're drinking great coffee, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.